If you've been thinking about moving to Houston and you've been waiting for the best deals to happen, let me tell you, now is the time. You are not going to believe the insane deals I'm getting. It is end of 2025 and my buyers are coming in with massive equity right now. So if you're looking to get a best deal and looking to move quickly and get something under contract in the next week or two so that you have 30 days to close, listen up. So I'm Natasha Tessier, owner of Dwell Realty Design by EXP, born and raised in the great city of Houston. And in today's video, I'm going to go over why these builders are giving massive incentives right now to get these homes sold before the end of 2025. I'm also going to go over some of our best communities and where my best deals are happening. This week, I had my biggest amount of equity in a new home at $85,000, which is amazing. And then the biggest mistakes buyers make when they go buy a new construction home. So we are at a certain situation here where we have the highest inventory we've had in 13 years in the city of Houston. So if you know how economics works, it's supply and demand. Our supply is up, our demand is down. Homes are sitting on the market for 4 and 5 months. Things are slowly picking up the past few weeks as these rates start to lower, and there's a lot of talk about these rates that they're gonna carry on from old houses if that goes through, and there's a lot of talk about 50-year mortgages and all these things. But right now, today, this is the most equity I have ever gotten for my clients. A lot of people call me Natasha the negotiator, and here is why. So we are walking into these builders. I just did one in Westin. The home was listed at over $760. We went in at $665 and they took it, and we got some closing costs, and the house just appraised for $750. So these people have $85,000 worth of equity. We have a $50,000. We have a $40,000, a $35,000. All these people with new construction are walking into the day they purchase, they have equity. The houses are appraising a lot higher than what they're purchasing for. And on top of all this, they are helping with rate buy downs. We're locking in, rates at 4.99. We're locking in $20,000 in closing costs or $12,000 in closing costs. We have large sections, 50-foot lots going for under $300 with $12,000 in closing costs. It's crazy what is happening, plus the 4.99 rate. So every day we're walking into deals. Do I think they will last? No, I do not. I think that these builders are going to push these inventory homes as much as they can push them. And then as things start to get better, which they already are, I had a house I listed, it got into a bidding war. So as things start to pick up, they're not going to be giving away these amazing deals. If you're one of those people that is here as an investor, or this is maybe not your permanent home, but you want to get started, now would be your time to buy. I would jump on these deals in a heartbeat. I've even thought about getting one for ourselves just as an investment, because the deals are so good that I know in 2 years you're gonna have equity. I'm actually looking at one on the lake. It appraised for $450 and they have it for sale at $395. So these deals are crazy. If you're an investor, or again, somebody looking to move here and not sure when, if you can make the move now is when I would do it. So the question becomes, where are these deals happening? I have had deals in Woodland Hills, Preston, Audubon, Woodhaven, Jubilee, all the way out in Fulshire and Cross Creek West, Cross Creek Ranch. I have 2 pending in Ellison, 2 that have major equity in them. So everywhere really in the new construction, we are getting great deals and lots of equity into our homes. Okay, so let me tell you how this process works. So what most of my clients do is they go in, they find a house that they love and adore, and I tell them, don't talk to the agent about prices. They're gonna tell everybody the same price. Guess what? If you wanna put this under contract, I can give it to you for $15,000 off. That's fine. We go in on the back end, or Texas is a non-disclosure state. So you're not gonna be able to see what the previous solds are. So a lot of people say, well, why do I need an agent? Well, let me go in and show you what the previous solds are, because the builder's agent is not gonna show that to you. And even if they do, they're not gonna show you the extra 20 grand they gave in closing costs. We have access to the MLS in the back end, and they're required to disclose in there exactly how much they got off. So I can see price per square foot, what everybody's paying and how much they're paying, and make sure that we're gonna go under that. So it's very important that you have somebody doing the research on the back end. What a lot of people do is show up and they think, oh my gosh, this is like an amazing deal. It's $40,000 off, but it really isn't. So it's really not an amazing deal. You have to look at the numbers and see what's sold. Sales reps are working for the builders. They're not working for you. So the higher price that they can put in that builder's pocket, the more they're gonna get paid. So they're not gonna disclose every little thing, every rate, everything they gave every buyer, and they're gonna pay an agent anyway. So you don't owe the agent anything, but if you want to push your prices down and walk into equity, then you need an agent like me or somebody who is able to go in and negotiate hard for you and get the best deal. It doesn't work to just walk in, take the deal and walk away. Because if you do that, so you go in, you talk to the sales rep, you come to me, you say, hey, this is the house we like, what's the best deal you can get? Already on like our 320 house, I've already gotten it $10,000 below what the agent offered, and I'm gonna ask for 10 more. So all we can do is ask. I have another client looking at a Drees home. I think it's at $775. We went in at $725 with $15,000 in closing costs. All we can do is ask and push them as hard as we can push them and see what happens. Okay, and then as you go through that, you're gonna wanna look at the contract. I've looked at a million builder contracts. They are for the builder, but you're gonna want to look at specific things in there. Like, what happens if I have to go over the closing date by a week? Am I going to be charged? Some builders, and please be careful of this, are throwing in that if the home doesn't appraise, that you have to cover the cost. Let's say you buy a $700,000 home and it only appraises for $650,000. They're wanting you to sign something saying you'll cover the difference. That is a big undertaking. A lot of people don't have $50,000 cash sitting around to cover their appraisal because they charged you too much. Now, when you're getting a good deal like this one on Westin, I knew the day I was negotiating that, I told my client, there is no way we don't have equity. And he told me yesterday it was $85,000 and I was so thrilled. When you know that's not gonna be an issue, but do you sign something saying you'll cover that? Do you get charged for going over? You need to look at everything on that contract. Remember, your earnest money with a builder is non-refundable. I can usually move it to a different home within that neighborhood or with that builder usually, but you're not gonna get it back unless it's an extenuating circumstance. So don't count on that money coming back to you. It's very important that you know that up front. Okay, so what other things have we been able to negotiate? We talked about rate buy downs. Some builders do that, like David Weekley and Highlands, and some like Westin, they'll give you money towards closing costs, but they don't have an in-house lender. So they're not gonna give you a 4.99. They'll give you money to help buy down the rate, but they don't have that. So please be wary of that. And then also closing costs. There are limits depending on the type of loan you have. Sometimes you can only do 3%. So if it's $400,000, you can only get up to $12,000 in closing costs legally. Some mistakes that buyers make is they negotiate $20,000 in closing costs, but legally they can only use $12,000 and that $8,000 goes away. So it's very important that you know all these rules and you know what kind of loan you have and how much money you can get in closing costs, and then make sure that that money can be used. They don't necessarily turn around and say, oh, okay, well, we'll just take $8,000 off the house. Sometimes it just goes away if you don't negotiate that up front. The other thing, and I have 3 new construction builds going on in two-step farms. I will do a video on two-step farms. I love it if you haven't checked it out. But one of the builders offered them $20,000 in Design Center, and I turned around and asked for $50,000 in Design Center, not thinking she would give it to me, and she did. So I'm always pushing, lot premiums, Design Center, all those things. Some won't budge on lot premiums, some won't budge on different things. Different builders do different things, but you always have to push and see what else is out there, because they're offering, 25, and they'll say, oh, it's our introductory 25,000, and I got them over double at the Design Center. So it doesn't hurt to have an agent who's willing to ask and push all the buttons. I would love to be your agent. If you want to fill out the form below and reach out, we would love to help you anytime, days, nights, weekends. We can hop on a phone call, hop on a Zoom, and figure out how we can help you relocate and get the best deal for you and your family. The other thing I want to tell you is if you want to work with me, obviously you have to sign a buyer's rep, but put my name down when you go visit, because you want them to know, hey, I'm working with an agent and she's here and gonna have my back. So just as you go in there and you visit, just say, yep, I'm working with Natasha Tessier, and then I'm able to negotiate on your behalf. But I wouldn't sign anything. I wouldn't get locked into anything without an agent reviewing it for you. It's very, very important that you do this before you pull the trigger on all of this. Just one thing I want to add back to the Design Center. I went to the Design Center, I think 4 times last week, but I went out and went with somebody doing a Highland home. and they wanted $13,000 to change their faucets from silver to brass. That's insane. We can do much better than that. So again, having somebody with you to figure out, okay, this is where we should put our money and this is where we shouldn't put our money, and this is worth spending the money up front and this is not. So all those things, it's important to have an educated person with you when you're buying new construction. But the main point of my video is to tell you that right now, late fall 2025, if you're looking for a deal, you need to reach out, you need to get moving. Most, unless you're cash, take 30 days to close. Sometimes we can do it in 20 days, but it does take some time. So you want to get under contract, hopefully by the 1st of December, maybe the 5th or 10th or something like that, in order to lock in these deals. However, if you do want to build, you could do that too and lock in a great deal that way, because the prices are going to go up in January by say 20 grand on base prices. We're here to help. Reach out anytime, and I hope you have a blessed day.